Cooper, give over. Hi everyone, sorry the dog's making... Cooper, give over. Pack it in. Right, got a game against Siphius Mary, rated 567. And so this is a training game. You guys can book one of these, $10. Okay, I'm going to play something very, very normal, and I'm not going to play my normal repertoire, and I'm not going to play gambits. Okay, we've got Spanish. And I don't know what to do. I'm going to play a6 because that's what grandmasters play. And I think knight f6 here is quite normal. Okay, we've got an exchange. And I think here, if knight takes, it's queen d4. So, great opening, by the way. Craig, who is one of our coaches on Chess Bootcamp Live, has played the Spanish exchange variation since day one, since he started on chess.com, rated 700 or whatever. He's now 2300 rapid, and he still plays the Spanish exchange. It's very good. So here, obviously this pawn was hanging, and so Mary's decided not to take that. I think the reason is because knight takes here, and this is the classic thing in the Spanish that this is a genuine fork. Queen goes here. The knight's on this square, and you can't save both. So if the knight moves away, you grab the pawn with check. You could end up with a queen trade. Okay. So the pawn still hangs. Bishop d6 is playable. Queen f6 also defends the pawn. The knight can't defend the pawn. It's on the wrong colour. But I think still this still applies, right? So could I just develop here? I don't want to put my bishop there, and the reason is because these two pawns are locked, so they can't move. And so what is my bishop doing there? It's looking a bit silly. Also, I'm not really a big fan of f6. I guess my knight could swing around. See, I don't know the theory here, so this is me trying to work it out for myself. Do I have to defend the pawn? Well, we just don't know. Now, the thing is, if I was to do something else, like this, for example, Mary plays knight c3, then let's say I do this, she takes the pawn. No, that's okay, she hasn't got time to do that. So there, knight c3. Then I've got time to defend the pawn, have I? Oh, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to develop. Oops. Okay, develop bishop here. Okay, takes. Oh, hang on. But now this pawn's defended, isn't it? This pawn is defended because I think I did. I looked at it on this move. Anyway, so it's all by the by because she's castled. Now, I have queen e7 defends the pawn. That looks reasonable. It's a developing move. Yes, I know it's only one square, still developing. Defends the pawn, prepares this, prepares castles. Also, queen d6. Queen d6 also gives me this. Also, queen here. My light squared bishop could go. In fact, that's not a bad move. Pinning the knight. The knight's now pinned. Might prompt this, in which case I might just drop back. But if I drop back and then g4, then I'm looking a bit silly here because I'm biting on granite there. Or you can just trade ski. Trade, queen takes. Knight out. But this is my good bishop, because my opponent's central pawns are on light squares. So I'm somewhat disinclined. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm going to maintain the pin on the knight and see if we can prompt this. This is a 15+10 game and it's unrated. If it wasn't unrated, it would be a 16-0 for me, I think, with 1,000 points difference. 1,003 points, in fact. So in the last 24 hours, I've gone from 1,400 plus change up to 1,500 plus change and all the way back down to 1,400 plus change. I gained 100 rating points and lost them again. Such is the world of gambling. Played far too many... That's in Blitz, by the way. Yeah, far too many games. But this is all good stuff here from White. Got to be careful about this kick. I'm thinking now I might... Right. If I do this... Takes. Or is it just b6? b6 takes, but then if I take, I've got triple isolated pawns. Not nice, Precious, at all. If I drop back, she trades. I take away from the centre, and I've got a Tetris piece like that. Or I just swing Queenie out. I think we swing Queenie out. This is defended, that's defended. If bishop takes now, queen takes. The knight's still pinned and can't attack my queen. So I think that's probably sensible. It's probably still knight f6 and castles, I'd imagine. Yeah, I just didn't fancy this at all. With pawns like that. That's not good. Not good at all, Precious. I think this is pretty equal, though. I mean, White has a very solid position. I'm liking this play so far. Nothing really to criticise. I mean, if I was to take here and then she takes, she's taken towards the centre. She's giving herself a spare central pawn, preparing to beat her way through. I, however, have captured away from the centre, so I've only got one pawn in the middle two files, right? But she might have three if I did that. And that would be unappealing in terms of central control. For real. But White is playing a good game so far. My bishop is, the light square bishop is looking a bit stupid because of this pawn chain here. If it ever finds its way to g6, it's going to be sitting there with his... Yeah. Okay, this is interesting, because what you've done now is you created a backwards pawn. This is something now for me to target. Okay, so let's play a game. Let's say I stick my bishop in there, takes. This pawn is now locked in a backwards position. Backwards position means it can't ever be defended by another pawn. Of course, the pawns start on these squares. And there ain't no pawns on those squares because they've already moved forwards. So, I do that. Takes. Or do I just play rook d8? I think I play rook d8 with the idea of maybe this. This pawn's now technically in a pin. And when you see that, you have to look at these, right? Are these ones then capturable? Are they en prise? Well, no. If I had a light square bishop that wasn't in a stupid position, well, it's not in the stupidest position, to be fair. Okay, what's this knight doing? I can only imagine it's wanting to go there. I'm trying to dislodge my bishop. And if my bishop goes here, it could be taken again. Because then he's got two, or she has got two attackers on there. It's only defended once. Not good. So if the knight comes here, I think I'll be forced either to go there or to trade off. This is good play. This is definitely solid play. And I'm happy that I'm playing an opening I don't know. There, if takes, I have pawn takes. Then we've blocked off this backwards pawn. If she doesn't immediately take, I have c5, which then secures my centre. I think we'll go for that. The knight's still pinned, so the knight is not part of this equation. I mean, theoretically, I also have rook takes. Rook takes could be interesting, because then if I castle, my rook's going to be here. I'll play rook f to d8, and then I've got two rooks looking at this backwards pawn. So, also, the other thing that this move c2 to c4, what it's done is it's weakened the base of this pawn chain. Like I was saying before, when this pawn was back here, that pawn chain was a pain for me, right? Because making life harder for the bishop. Right now the bishop is doing a job, right? It's pinning this knight. But all white has to do is push g4, shoves me back here. Okay. And let's go in with a rook, just to see what happens. Now, how does white defend this pawn a second time? You have to ask yourself these questions, right? Technically, could bring the knight back here, or knight here. But either one of those moves loses the queen, so that's not playable right now. She might do this first, I move out the way, then defends. That is a possibility, but this is definitely weakening the king. But no, it's game on here. I'm in a game here. But it is often the right thing to do when there is a backwards pawn that can't be defended by any of the pawns. You line up all your junk against him. Not too difficult. I've got queen here or here, giving my knight potentially the e7 square. And then you think, well, where can the knight go from there? Well, that's not a bad location. That's kind of prime real estate there. Of course, oh, hello. Ah, right, okay, so there we go. She's found a solution. This is good. The problem with this, what is the problem with this? Problem is that the queen was one of the defenders of ye knight, and now I'm very much inclined to take out the knight, because now the only way to recapture is with the g pawn. Then I have queen g5 check, which forces the king to one of these squares. I don't have to play that, it might not be the right thing to do. But it does also vacate e7, possibly for my knight. I don't know if I really want to be playing knight f6 now, because where's my knight going from there? Very important. Okay. This knight might find its way around to e2 to try and get rid of the rook. This is fine. If it takes, I mean, I've got time to reinforce the rook and try and create a bit of a barrage down the d-file, but then white has two very good options to reinforce the pawn, adding a second defender to the pawn. Then what is gained? Nothing. And the knight will still swing round, and my rook will have to move anyway. And then all I've done really is just probably the A rook, I would imagine. Right? Okay, there we go. Now, undefended, undefended. This is important. The pawn on f2 is very well defended. Defended, defended, defended. This is not hard to do. Right? That is the defensive relationships. So what we see is that we've got two undefended bits on white side of the board. So if I come here, maybe here, right? So look, these two pawns are both undefended, yes? If the king goes in the corner, I have this. King can go there and defend both. But my hunch is that this is not a bad move. My queen is getting into the game, and it's a tempo gaining move, because one of these two moves is now forced. And now I might be thinking about, well, what can this knight do to be a troublemaker? We already identified this square as a tasty square. It's particularly tasty now. It adds a second attacker to d3. also attacks this, and also maybe there's an idea of dropping the queen in with a mate. So is it what or is actually the same thing. Did it. This is a very long L. This is a 5-1 L, which is 3 moves for a knight. Okay, so she's gone here. I do have another check, actually, which might force the king here. Let's do that. Now, there's a risk of this, which is that knight here would then fork queen and rook. But, so if I go here, she's going to go there or there. And it ain't going to be there because I could then take the pawn. So if I go here, she's got to go here. So I think it's time to move the knight, don't you? Let's get the knight in. Doesn't really matter which way round we go. All roads lead to Rome. Okay. Now I have this, and this is forced. Notice queen defends this one. Here, check. Then, that was a good move, by the way. Forgot to say, good move. Here, that's a check. The king has to go there or there, or rook blocks. But rook blocks doesn't work because I have knight h5, then attacking the pinned piece. Right, so rook blocks isn't playable. Well, it's not good. It's playable. Of course it is. It's legal. Takes, then you drop a pawn as well as the exchange. Here we are in tic-tac land. King has to go here or else this pawn drops, yes. Right, but then I have this. What does that do? Right, no, that doesn't work. It's knight h5 now. You always have to say to yourself, what is my opponent's best reply? Anytime you block a check with a piece, what are you doing? You're pinning the piece. You can now colour that in blue, say this piece is now pinned. Right? So I'm going to attack the piece. Didn't have to, but it is the right move. Oh, counterattacks. Strategies within strategies. I take, you take, doesn't work. I did not see that. And you've got in the fork. Boom, Mary. Boom. Yeah, I said it was the right move to do. It wasn't. And I've walked straight into the tic-tac that I was waxing so lyrical about. Anyway, you take my rook, I'm taking yours. You take my knight, I'm taking yours. So maybe we're not actually losing material here. But no, I was somewhat behind the game line in that one. Rugby term. Okay, I'm going to take back. This isn't playable because it's well defended. What she should do here, I think, is take that. Notice that the knight defends this, but then the knight's actually got to move on the next turn. So if she takes my knight, I'm taking her knight, and then this does actually hang. So it's definitely game on. Big difference here. Material is going to be equal, I reckon. Right? She saves her knight. Right? It can't. Yeah, it could go there. We could trade off. She saves. Oh, very interesting. Why didn't we just take it with the pawn? I take. She can take. I take. If I take and pawn takes, because I think the king's defending this. This is the second game I've had with somebody in the mid sub 1000s who is playing out of their skin. I take the knight. I quite like that because it means that I then get to solidify my pawns. What is there something better? Is this better? I save my knight and she's still got to move hers, right? I think that's the right idea. That's what my hunch is telling me, right? Keep these pawns doubled, keep these isolated. If we'd have gone from here, if I'd have gone takey, takey. She's then got a trio of pawns back in front of the king and can breathe, right? This, I think, is better. I save my knight, hers is still on prise. And that means she really ought to be thinking about moving that knight. And it can't go there. And it can't go there. And it can't go there. Could theoretically go here. Then it can get booted away again. And then where does it go? Because it can't go there or there or there or there or there. All back there. So if it goes here, if I kick, surely you have to go back here. But I also have a check. Always good to think of these things, right? Don't stop thinking at the first thing. Don't be like me. I have 2 checks, actually. 3 checks. They're all checks. Okay, now. If I kick the knight and he goes back here, I chuck in a check. My knight on there. Oh, he can... Actually, this knight can go here because it's blocked from the queen. But it's not a pretty place to go. So what about like this? I give check. That king has to go here or here. Or knight blocks. Hang on. So if I go here or here, knight can block. And if I take, again, she repairs her pawns, which we don't want. Oh dear, right, come on. Check with the knight can't block the check. So I think that's got to be good. Part of anything else, this is the centre of the board. This is the pericentre or whatever it's called. Yeah, pericentre, I would imagine. If the pericardium is the lining of the heart, is the outside of the heart, I think it is, then that can be the pericentre. We'll call it pericentre. Okay, so I'm close. I'm in the middle 16, which is good for a knight. And I'm slightly in my opponent's half of the board, which is also good for a knight. Notice if the knight is ever in the middle 16, it's reaching, let's put these in blue, it's hitting its maximum number of target squares. If a knight is not within this, then, like it's here, well, then 2 of those squares are outside of the board, aren't they? This would be I3 and I5, for example, which don't exist in chess. King is in check and really needs to defend this pawn because this is a fork. Therefore, the king should go there or there. Problem is, and I did not calculate this, and I should have, right? King goes here, that's check, and then mate, I think. King goes, ooh, right. Now I'm threatening mate in 2, yes? Not quite. Yes, it is mate in 2. No, it's not. King's got here. But then queen here. The king has to go there, and then queen takes rook. Yes? I could snatcheroo the pawn. But I don't think that's... I think this is the way to go. Before I do that, I'm just doing a sanity check. There's technically a check there, but that loses the knight. This, forced, only move. This, forced. I also have this. And then the king can't go there, right? So the king goes there, there, or there. Forced. Here. So the king's now on here, right? So everything else is the same. Queen is on this square. F2, king is on D2. There is another pawn available. Well, this we did not see. Again, Mary surprises us. Right, I'm now inclined to snatch the pawn off. Because the pawn's not going to do any trouble, is it? Or we could just castle. Right, we castle. The reason is not so much that I need to protect my king, which is not a bad idea anyway. I'd maybe like to engage this rook. But look at this, material is equal. We're 22 moves in, and I have not been able to break through yet. Although this pawn, you know, we could argue that these double pawns and this isolated pawn is an imbalance in black's favour, yes. I think also maybe rook d8 targeting this could be good. Rook d8 pushes. I can just take with rook or pawn, actually, two attackers. But it's game on. I like rook d8. I'm quite fond of knight takes pawn. It's material. Probably then knight takes pawn and knight comes back to the pericentre. The myocardium is space inside the heart, I believe. So an MI, or myocardial infarction, is a heart attack. But I don't understand what infarction means. I think it means broken, or something like that. Yeah. Now I can still advance the pawn, but Hunty, doesn't that hang your queen? Well, it kind of does, but... So I think I'm going to cash in. But first I'm going to double check, because Mary's a slippery character. There. Can she annoy the... Well, no. Because this comes with immediate tension. Queens are facing off, okay? So let's see if we can't go into an endgame with a slight benefit. And what is the slight benefit? Well, look. This imbalance, what we talked about before, right? Now there's nothing... Let's use blue to represent fresh air. There ain't no pawns on G or H. But I have an H pawn. What does that mean? That means that pawn is technically unopposed, at least by pawns. Okay? Now, queen takes, knight takes. Boom. We're attacking this pawn. So I would expect king to come up. King comes here, also defends this pawn. Ooh. I'm probably going to play rook d8 anyway. And I might also play f6 just to defend this fella. I am one pawn up right now. But also another attractive idea is to slot my knight in here. And this is what we call, altogether now, an outpost. Why? Because this cannot be assaulted by a pawn. Okay, well done. Now, this is an outpost. It blocks this backwards pawn from advancing. If I do this, and it's like, ooh, yeah, I'm attacking a pawn, but actually the pawn's already defended, so I am going to swing the horse. I've got room to swing a horse, and I'm going to swing my horse around. And I'm not too concerned about this. Here, I've also, I can reinforce my knight with c5. So an outpost is especially nice if you can defend the piece with a pawn. Knights love outposts. I mean, technically, you can also have a queen or a rook or a bishop on an outpost, but knights love outposts. So what it generally means is it's a square in your opponent's half of the board, normally on, you know, basically 5, 6, or 7, these ranks here, usually defended by a pawn, and crucially where it can't be attacked by one of your opponent's pawns. Why? Because of this move. I think that this move here, Mary, is going to prove to be a thorn in your side. I think we should go back to that move at some point. It's the move c4. When did you play c4? Oh, you were white. Yes, that's right. Move 9. Move 9. Creating this kind of Maroxy bind kind of idea. But I haven't got a d-pawn to defend against, so why are we putting huge control over this square? That's a bit more kind of positional thinking. I suspect that will prove to be an inaccuracy. Anyway, we have action in the game. And is it? I think it is. It just is. This is an instinctual move. Slam the knight in the centre. Of course, king has to go there because it's also a fork on there. But this is potentially game losing because that is now another fork. King and rook. And it's good night Vienna. He says that. King has to move. Can't go there, can't go there, can't go there. Right? The next move is forced. It's got to be one of those. And I will take the rook. And what she should probably do. So I think she should come here. Yeah. Now what she should do is move this pawn forwards. Because my knight is trapped. Right? That knight, that horse is horse meat. Right? The king goes here or here. The horse is going to die. You should move this pawn forward because that takes away a slight option for me to desperado and get one more pawn in return for my dead horse. This pawn is undefended right now, so are these. Defended. Obviously defended, defended, defended. That. Now at this point in the game... Oh! Mary liked. Yeah, Mary says, well, that was smart. Wasn't so smart. Yeah, well, yeah. Part luck, I'll put it that way. I didn't actually see the fork immediately. Okay, but now I'm going to desperado. And I've just got myself an extra pawn for my trouble. What that could mean is that Andy the A-pawn might have an easier ride later on. Okay, but anyway. I think what we do now is we put the rook on the only semi-open file, right? That is the only file, in this case, that has no black pawns on it, right? This file here is free. Mary says I could do with some of that luck. Yes, it always helps. But Gary Player. Anyone remember Gary Player? Very, successful golfer, I think in the 70s, maybe the 80s. Certainly in the 70s, and there's a famous quote attributed to Gary Player. Somebody said to him, apparently, isn't golf just mainly luck? And he said, well, yeah, I guess you're right, but what I've noticed is the more I practice, the luckier I get. And this is true. Now, when you play sound, like positionally soundly, is that a thing? When you play good positional chess, and, for example, your pieces are defended. I'm just going to swap off here because I'm right. This is my big King Kahuna advantage. Now, I think here that I could even sack the exchange. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, when you play well positionally, then you find that when you're not putting pieces on undefended squares, when you're just thinking, well, that could, potentially get forked at some point later on, or I'm not going to move that pawn forward because it's doing an important job, kind of thing, then you find that the tactics tend to present themselves. It's like a kind of law of attraction. I could hit the knight, but what I'd like to calculate is takes, and Mary goes, hello, game on. Right? Move 1. Move 2. Okay. So, king goes here. Move 3. Duh. Move 4. Duh. Move 5. Duh. Okay? She stops it. She stops the pawn. But what if I jump in with this first? And she does something innocuous like this. Now, her issue is that the king is the only defender of your knight. Now, the king can't go there or there. Why not? Pop quiz. Why not? Pause the video and figure it out. Why can't the king go here or here? Well, you're stepping into an alignment issue. Effectively, pinning the knight. Whenever we see a pinned piece, we say, can the piece be attacked? In particular, can the piece be attacked by a pawn? Bah, bah, bah. Yes, indeed. That's the problem. Okay. Handy move. I like it. and I didn't even have to. I haven't got my shoes and socks on right now. I usually don't, especially at this time of year. I think this is just playable. You can hit check, but there's no fork, so this is okay. I think I counted right. We did numbers at my school, you see. I'm showing off. We did math. So where are you going now? You can go here or here with a check. Doesn't really matter. I can just kick you out of the way. In fact, this move. No, you've got this. Yeah. There. Oh, hello. Right. I think I can do this. This is kind of partly just psychological. My opponent is now down to a minute. Right, I'm 4 materials up because I'm up an exchange which is worth 2, and I've got 2 extra pawns on this side of the board. That's the difference. But what's really key is the fact that this one is a passed pawn. Right? What do we mean by passed pawn? It means ain't no pawns here, here, here that can stop it. That means it can only be stopped by a piece. And also, I like the fact that my rook is on this semi-open file. Remember I said, I'm going to put the rook on the semi-open file. That is a positional decision. And what that means now is that King E is quarantined. Ah, bless you. She said it was such an honour. Bless you. Thank you. You played very well. You played very well indeed. Okay, let's have a quick look at that review, because I'm going to put money on the move c4 being inaccurate. Mary, 79.9. 79.9. Check it out. Anyway, while we're here, because there's been a bit of discussion, I think, was it Andy? Someone like that. Right, look at this, okay? I'm going to copy this. Okay, so what's it saying? 1250. Mary! You played better than me in the opening. Boom. Yeah? Now, I played well. Opening accuracy 95.6. Opening accuracy 99. I think everybody should give Mary a clap. 99.2 accuracy. Damn, and actually here, you were better. Anyway, I'm just going to open up 1, 2, 3 analysis boards, okay? Bear with me on this, because, yeah, just humour me, right? We're having a discussion about ELOs and this stupid policy that chess.com have. Okay, now, same game, same accuracy. No one's disputing that. Okay, and with this difference, it's saying, what's it saying? That white played at 1250, I played at 1450. Now, I'm going to do one at 1000 and 2000, okay? By the way, if you only put in one ELO, it does it the same, right? And here, hang on. Here, I'm going to do it at the other way round. 2000 and 1000, okay? And then just for giggles, we'll do it where white ELO is 1000 and black ELO is not mentioned, okay? So, and I'll hit to run on all of these, and I'm going to hit review on all of these. Okay, so, as a reminder, 1250, 1450, based on our starting points. What that means is that Mary played 700 points higher than her current performance. Massive kudos. I played 120 points lower than mine. But it don't matter because I got the win. But that's not the point of the thing. Right, now, here. Right, so remember, 1250, 1450. Here, when we told it, our survey said 1000 and 2000. Right? 1600 now she's played. and I played 1700, okay? What about if you swap them round? 1550 and 1850, right? What about if you only provide one of them? It assumes the same for both. 1250 and 14. Right. I don't even need to say it, do I? This is just stupid. Also, look, we both got a shriek, or exclamation mark, or exclamation point, depending on where you come from. We both got a thumbs up in the middle game, and we both got a star. So, very, very good. But chess.com, how do you explain this, right? Now, so this one is 2,000 for black and 1,000, okay? This one is, we don't know black and 1,000, right? So this is just white, I'm just writing a note for myself so I can remember. White 1,000, okay? Black, it's assuming 1,000. This, what was it? This one. White 1,000, black 2,000, okay? So it's white 1,000, black 2,000. Okay, now. So white 1,000, black 2,000. White's got 1,600. White 1,000, black 1,000, white's got 1,250. So you're making it worse. The more I unpick this, the more layers we peel away, the stupider this looks, chess.com. Now stop it. Right? White 1,000, black 1,000, it gives white 1,250. White 1,000, black 2,000, it's saying actually white did a lot better in that instance. At 1,600. So it's not only taking your starting ELO, which is absurd in itself, I argue, because performance is performance. It's also taking your opponent's strength into account, your opponent's starting ELO, as in their historical performance, into account at the start of it. Not your opponent's performance in the game. Am I going mad here? Do I have to go Gotham? Anyway, to the actual thing. Bookity, 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 bookity. Not great. It was f6. Ho, ho, ho. Right, we don't have to worry about this too much because we've always got g6. And anyway, the knight would have to move. Okay, f6 and we're doing slightly better. Okay, castles. It's good. This again is good. Still f6, it likes. Good. Yeah, not bad. Right? And I knew that was a little bit... Oh! No! Right, ladies and gentlemen, I give you, I believe... Isn't this the fishing pole trap? Takes. Okay. Let's say the knight goes here. And it's mate in 5. Okay? So you've got to be careful. Right? What they're saying, bishop f4, we take the bishop. Right? The knight's just serious trouble now. Okay? Your king gives itself an escape. Oh my goodness me. Okay. So anyway. Yes. Right, Mary. This is one to remember. Okay? If you're going to face this situation again, be careful about the kick. Now, I didn't see it in the game, right? I'm not an expert, but this is deadly. And in fact, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to grab the fen, okay? I'm going to go over to the Lichess Explorer now, and I'm going to paste Yi Fen into the Lichess Explorer, and look at this. Okay, hang on. Let's, so from White's point of view, okay? White, ooh. So White actually does do well from here. But the point is, h takes g4, h takes g4. You've got to tread very carefully. There's a lot of ways to go wrong here. That black just wins. And you have to know knight g5 or bishop g5. Interesting. But this is a well-known trap. This is a well-known trap. Anyway, back to the analysis. So that one's worth studying. Anyway, look at the fishing pole trap. Okay, so anyway, this is not what happened. We did this. I dropped back. Not best. Not best. That's good. He says it could have traded. But trading here would have opened up the f-file for white's rook. I'm still not castled. I guess I could have gone long as well. Gone long, stick the rook on d8 with some pressure up the d-file, which is, as we know, semi-open, right? And that played a major role later on. Semi-open file, and it all came down to this exchange, right, at the start. It's a key positional feature. c4, mistake. What did I tell you? Yeah? Oh, aren't I clever? But we're creating a backwards pawn, right? Computer says bishop takes c5. Let's look at all the other moves, right? So here, bishop takes c5, right? So this move, and it's saying knight b to d2, this move, or bishop takes, no, now it's saying a4, right? This was not the best move, okay? This move is what you played in the game. And it's a mistake. So the advantage goes from slightly in white's favour to slightly in black's favour. Right, 0.282. Now, definitely better for black. But that was not great. In response. Oh! Same move. Could have just castled. Yeah. Thereby potentially preparing a bit of a storm over here. Maybe attacking this hook pawn. Yes. Okay, anyway. Knight comes out. This wasn't the best move. Says I should have just developed the horse. That was not necessary. But I did that. Did this. Oh, and that wasn't the best way. Was it pawn recaptures then? Okay. But then this was a big miss. Ignores an opportunity to win a bishop. Okay, and then when I do this, what? Oh, right. So I took that. This breaks the pin on the knight. Because here the knight is in a pin and can't take the rook. But can the pin be broken? Well, yes, it can. There. Oh no, my bishop. Oh no, my rook. That's just tactics. I didn't see it. Mary didn't see it. Anyway, so that wasn't best. That wasn't best. And then I took out the knight. Because this is also another way of breaking the pin, right? Getting the target out of the way, right? But a better way to do it was to block the pin. Block the attacking piece's view of the pinned piece. And with tempo. And that, Mary, was your best shot in the game. And but this, you know, after the queen moved, definitely the best move. And from here, black is doing well, but I took my eye off the ball. You missed opportunity to set the blockade. Queen f4, right? Stopping these pawns from moving forwards. Queen f4 is kind of winning. Now I did it, but I've lost nearly two pawns of advantage by being a bit slow and just thinking development. Great move. Oh, interesting, because now I attacked it, and then you went, ah ha 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 ha. So you got me there. I drop back. You take rook. I take rook, which was not the best thing. Wow. And this, guys, this is chess. Got 500 against the 1500. And there are opportunities. Not best, best, not great. Best. Threats. Best. Nice. And that was not. I could have... Huh. Oh, I see. We're just threatening to kick the knight out. And if that knight moves, you know, say they just do something like this, we do this. No, the knight simply can't move. There's nothing for it. You know, this, king e1, and then queen here is mate, yes? Queen h1 check, knight blocks, mate. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to actual game itself. Oh. Let's go back a bit. Okay. We trade queens, and from this point it's -3. Yeah. This is good. Look, look. Centralizing the knight on an outpost. Completely instinctual move. The best move on the board. And then you walk into a fork, and that's all she wrote. But, you know, I love this. I love this. You know, the point of these training games is not to embarrass anyone who's at sub 1000 level or whatever level you're on. You know, I'm not playing guess the elo here. I'm actually really, really impressed. You know, the last 2 training games that I've done with guys well below 1000, we've had great games. So let that be massive encouragement to Mary. Thank you very much for the game. And I'm assuming your name is Mary. I think it is. If not, you're Mary to me. But everyone else, doesn't matter what your rating is, you know, you have opportunities. Just look for them, you know. Most of all, enjoy your chess. Yeah? Right, there we go. Hope you've enjoyed that one. I certainly have. Mary, thank you very much. And I'll see you in a few days for a lesson. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.